A machine cuts into pale limestone beside a highway project. The bucket pulls back, dust rolls away, and the workers see something that should not be there. Darkness. Not a shallow crack, not an empty pocket. A cave. Behind the broken rock is a sealed room containing stone tools, animal bones, fireplaces, and the remains of lives lived before Neanderthals or modern humans became dominant. The opening had been closed for hundreds of thousands of years, and the new road was heading straight toward it. This is the cave near Phoratus, south of Haifa, close to the Zichron-Yaakov junction. Archaeologists now date the activity inside to roughly 400,000 to 250,000 years ago. That range is so old that calling the occupants cavemen is almost too simple. No human bones have yet identified exactly who they were. They belong to a population living during one of the least understood transitions in human evolution. Their faces are still missing. Their work is not. The cave survived because it became inaccessible. Sediment and stone sealed the entrance. Rain did not wash the floor clean. Later, people did not dig new fires through the old ones. Animals did not drag the bones into different corners. Each layer remained closer to the moment when it formed. To an archaeologist, that is not simply a cave. It is a paused scene. Imagine entering it before it closed. Outside, the slopes of Mount Carmel descend toward a broad coastal landscape. Water lies nearby. Deer move between brush and open ground. Wild asses cross the drier patches. Horses travel through the valley. The cave overlooks a place where animals, stone, plants, and water repeatedly come together. For a mobile human group, it is the kind of location worth remembering. One group reaches the entrance carrying meat and stone. Someone kneels near an old hearth and wakes the coals. Another person places a rounded piece of flint on a stone anvil. A hard strike removes a flake. Then another. The object slowly becomes a small hand axe with a controlled edge. Nearby, a scraper moves across an animal hide. A thin cutting tool separates meat from bone. None of these actions is spectacular by itself. Together they reveal planning. The tools belong to what archaeologists call the Acheulo-Yabrudian cultural complex, a tradition from the end of the Lower Paleolithic in the Levant. The name sounds distant and technical. The objects do not. Small hand axes fit the hand. Scrapers clean and prepare hides. Sharp flakes cut flesh and plant material. Each shape solves a different problem. The people who made them were not striking rocks at random. They understood angle, force, stone quality, and the sequence of blows needed to reach a useful edge. That knowledge had to travel between minds. A skilled knapper can see a fracture before it happens. A beginner sees only a stone. So picture an experienced adult turning a flint core while a younger person watches the hands. The first strike is slow. The second exposes a ridge. The third follows it. Archaeology cannot prove that exact lesson happened on that exact afternoon, but repeated precision does not appear from nowhere. Skills survive because someone demonstrates them, someone practices them, and someone remembers. Fire may tell an even larger story. Researchers report intensive fire use and signs of relatively long stays inside the cave. A flame changes a shelter. It pushes predators away from the entrance. It extends useful time after sunset. It dries hides and damp wood. It makes hard food easier to process and turns a dark chamber into shared space. More importantly, a fire needs work. Someone gathers fuel. Someone protects the ember. Someone clears ash. Someone notices when smoke begins to collect under the ceiling. One hearth can be an accident. Repeated hearths create a pattern. If groups returned and occupied the cave for longer periods, they had to organize more than a single hunt. Meat had to be divided. Tools had to be repaired. Children and injured adults had to stay within a safe area. Waste had to be moved away from where people slept. The cave floor becomes a record of decisions made by a community that never wrote anything down. The animal bones deepen the picture. Archaeologists have identified remains from deer, horses, and wild asses. Some may have arrived as hunted animals or butchered portions. Some may record the wider ecosystem around the cave. Their teeth can preserve information about diet and season. Cut marks can show where a sharp edge entered muscle. Burned surfaces can reveal contact with heat. Even a broken bone can show whether people wanted meat, marrow, or both. But the most exciting discovery may still be absent. The excavation team hopes to find hominin remains. A tooth, a piece of jaw, or part of a skull could reveal who occupied the cave. Were they ancestors related to later Neanderthals? Did they belong to another population moving through the Levant? Were different groups using similar tools? Right now, the cave gives us behavior without a face. That uncertainty matters. It would be easy to draw one confident character and declare that this is exactly who lived here. The evidence does not allow that. The period comes before Neanderthals and anatomically modern humans spread widely through the region. The makers were human relatives at a turning point, but their exact identity remains an open question. The honest image is a firelit group whose actions are visible while their place on the family tree stays blurred. The cave had already attracted attention decades ago when researchers thought the activity might be around 200,000 years old. The new work is revealing something older and far more important. Modern excavation proceeds slowly. Archaeologists remove sediment in controlled units, record the position of each flake, brush around fragile bone, and compare one patch of ash with the next. A bucket could destroy in seconds what careful hands need years to understand. That created a modern problem. The cave stood in the path of construction. The easiest engineering answer would have treated the limestone as an obstacle. Instead, researchers presented the importance of the site, and the plan changed. A bridge was designed so the road could pass above, while the cave remained accessible below. The machine that threatened the time capsule became the reason it was found, and the highway bent around human history. Picture the contrast. Cars will cross the bridge in seconds. Beneath them, archaeologists will study a floor built one fire, one tool, and one meal at a time over thousands of ancient days. Above, engines, signs, concrete, and schedules. Below, flint, ash, bone, and silence. Two completely different forms of movement occupy the same place. The research program may last for years. Scientists can study microscopic layers of sediment, identify which materials burned in the hearths, examine residues on tool edges, reconstruct animal habitats, and test when different parts of the cave were occupied. Every method asks a different question. Was the cave used throughout the year or only in certain seasons? Did the same group return? Were different areas reserved for different tasks? Did tool styles change through time? The cave may also reveal how social life was changing. Researchers connect this period with larger groups, longer occupation of particular places, more complex organization, and stronger transmission of knowledge. Those ideas must be tested against the layers, where tools cluster, where fires repeat, and where animal remains accumulate can show whether people divided space and work. A cave floor can become a map of cooperation without containing a single written word. Now return to one ancient night. Wind moves across the slope outside. A deer calls in the dark. Near the entrance, a person sharpens a scraper beside the fire. Farther back, someone turns a hide so both sides dry. A child watches sparks lift toward the roof. Another adult checks the black opening beyond the light. They do not know the entrance will one day close. They do not know a road will pass above them. They are solving tonight's problems. That may be the real power of the discovery. The cave does not preserve a king, a monument, or a battle. It preserves ordinary intelligence, choosing a reliable place, keeping fire alive, sharing space, making a tool for a specific task, returning to water, reading animal movement, teaching another pair of hands. These small decisions became the foundation on which later humans built much larger worlds. Eventually, stone and sediment sealed the entrance. The last fire cooled. The tools stopped moving. Outside, populations changed. Neanderthals appeared and spread. Homo sapiens emerged and traveled. Coastlines shifted. Species vanished. Languages, villages, cities, and highways arrived. Through all of it, the cave remained dark. Then a modern machine reached the limestone, and the darkness opened again. Archaeologists stepped inside, not knowing whose bones might still wait below the floor. Engineers lifted the road onto a bridge, and a place used by unknown human relatives hundreds of thousands of years ago survived its second encounter with us. The traffic above will be loud. The excavation below will be slow. Somewhere between them lies the answer to one of the oldest questions we can ask. Before we became us, what kind of lives were already beginning?